Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. My name is DaReal, and we are here with some NBA 2K Mobile. In today's video, we will be discussing the theme players. We will be breaking down the stats. So now let's get into the video topics. And for those of you who have never seen my breakdown videos, I'll go over the topics that we discuss. So in this theme stats breakdown video, we discuss the new theme players, the strengths, weaknesses, along with some build suggestions. We rank players by position. We discuss the top players to craft, the top overall players for the theme, and the top theme team. Now that you understand what the video will be about, let me explain exactly how I come up with my stat averages. So let's break down how we compile a stat average. We look at all the stats available inside the game for each player. So we take a look at shoot off dribble, which is making shots while on the move. Layups and dunks, which is making baskets at the rim. Mid-range shooting, which is making shots from inside the perimeter. Three-point shot, which is landing shots from outside the perimeter. Post scoring, which is offense from close in. Agility, which is run speed and jumping. Strength, which is physical power. Rebounding, which is getting rebounds on offense and defense. Playmaking, which is accurate passes and knowing when to pass. And last but not least, defending, which is coverage, blocking, and stealing. So we compile all those stats and we come up with a formula that gives us a number, which is the overall stat average. And that is how the players are ranked. Now that we explained everything about this video, let's get into the details. All right, so let's get into the theme. Let's jump right into the point guards. And we're going to talk about them from lowest to highest. Lowest is going to be Dennis Smith Jr. He has a 3.4 overall stat average. He is a craftable player. His strongest categories is a 5 in agility. Aside from that, he has 4 scatters across the board. His lowest category is post scoring, rebounding. Those are pretty common for point guards. But he also has a 3 in strength and a 3 in defending. Aside from that, his stats have 4s everywhere, which is not bad. So there is some potential with building out Dennis Smith Jr. if you're a new player. You just would have to kind of forget about the defending and rebounding since those stats are so low, and since the others are 4, you have a better chance of getting those to 5 or 6. All right, next you got Amethyst John Wall, who's rated at 3.7. He's not craftable. John Wall's area of opportunity again is post scoring, strength, and rebounding. Those are either 2, 3, and 2. Aside from that, he has a 5 in playmaking and a 5 in agility. Now, I personally use John Wall as my Onyx point guard. The agility 5 is so much better, right? He's insanely fast, the fastest player in the game. And his playmaking is next level as well. Like, he is a true point guard, and I enjoy using him a lot. He has a 4 in layups and dunks, but I feel like he really operates better than that. So in the case of John Wall, even though his overall stat average is 3.7, because he has a 2 in post scoring as well, you can ignore those categories because he is very good in everything else. He is good in most of the other important categories. Now, bear in mind, John Wall mainly drives and dishes out. So he's a distributor who can get to the lane very easily. His mid-range and 3-point shot are super spotty. So you got to keep that in mind and really just shoot with him from his spots and when he's wide open. Then you got Ruby Kevin Johnson, who's rated at 4.0 overall. He's not craftable. He also has a 5 in playmaking and a 5 in agility, along with a 5 in 3-point shot, mid-range shooting, and shoot off dribble. His lowest category is rebounding and post scoring, which are both a 2, and strength is a 3. Aside from that, everything else is a 4. So Kevin Johnson is actually really, really good. So if you're able to get him, he's not a bad point guard to have on your team. The top point guard is Amethyst Russell Westbrook, who is craftable for 15 collectibles. Russ has a 4 in everything except the 5s that he has in agility and playmaking. So as you see, the top point guards, the elite ones, should try to have a 5 in agility and playmaking. Those are super important. Because Russ has a 4 in everything else, you can do a lot with his build. So it's totally based off your play style. If you want to take advantage of his speed and his explosiveness, then maybe build up layups and dunks and probably the mid-range shot. All right, next up is the shooting guards. We're going to start with Onyx Zach LaVine, who's rated 3.5 overall. What hurts Zach LaVine is he has a lot of 4s. Doesn't really have many 5s, and he has low categories for post scoring, strength, rebounding, and defending. So he's pretty one-dimensional scorer, which is okay, right? If you want to use him like that, then that's fine. But he's going to be a liability on defense for sure, and he's not going to grab any rebounds for your team. Now, considering the fact that these quarters are only 2 minutes, that's not a major deal breaker, to be honest with you. He has a 5 in agility, which is great, right? You need that for someone who's going to be driving and being explosive. And he has a 5 in layups and dunks. So if you're going to drive to the lane and just dunk, you're going to be A-okay. His 3-point shot is okay as well, and his mid-range shot is decent along with shoot-or-dribble. So even though Zach LaVine's overall stat average is 3.5, right, fairly low, if you can ignore those categories that he's not good in and focus on the stronger ones, then he can work for your team. Obviously, he's an Onyx player, so having him is important for the power rating, and he's most likely going to be better than a lot of shooting guards you already have. So, bear that in mind, take advantage of him if you get him, get the style point bonus in the events. Then you got Amethyst Donavan Mitchell, who's a 3.7 overall. He's not craftable. Donavan has a 1 in post scoring, a 2 in rebounding. Aside from that, he's got a 5 in shoot-off-dribble, 5 in mid-range shooting, 5 in agility. So he has those strong categories there. Next, you got Ruby Victor Oladipo, who is craftable. And Victor's actually pretty solid. 4.0 overall stat average. He has a 5 in mid-range shooting, 5 in 3-point shot, 5 in agility, and a 5 in defending. That's very elite compared to the other shooting guards. And also overall, too. Now, he has a 2 in rebounding, a 2 in post scoring. Again, you can kind of ignore that because aside from that, he has a 4 in everything else, right? 4 in playmaking, which is super important. 4 in layups and dunks. So Victor's actually a beast. And then once again, you guys know how I feel about Jason Richardson. Best shooting guard overall stats tied with Tracy McGrady. Both his cards are emerald, so that's why McGrady gets a slight bump as far as best overall. But he is craftable. So if you have the opportunity to and you're a newer player, you definitely should. He has a 4 in everything, aside from the 5s that he has in shoot-off-dribble, layups and dunks, mid-range shooting, 3-point shot, and agility. He has an overall stat average of 4.5, so that should give you some insight on how good he is. His stats are crazy, right? And you can really use his build whatever way you please, because he's good in the most important categories for a shooting guard. So this is solely about maxing out those pips. All right, so for your small forwards, we got Emerald Terrence Ross, who is craftable. He has an overall stat average of 3.3. There's a lot of work that needs to be done with Terrence Ross. And for a small forward, he has some low ratings and stats that do matter. So he has a 2 in rebounding, a 3 in defending, and a 3 in playmaking. So this brings his stat down a lot. The post scoring is a 3, but that's not a big deal. Aside from that, his other stats are pretty average too. He has a 4 in shoot-off-dribble, 4 in layups and dunks, 4 in mid-range shooting, and a 4 in 3-point shot. So if you had a choice of crafting an Emerald player, there are other options that you could go with, like Jason Richardson. Terrence Ross is, at this point right now in the game, a little too low to invest in. Unless you're a huge Orlando Magic fan, yeah, I totally understand. Then you got Onyx Vince Carter at a 3.6 overall stat average. And you might be saying, wow, this is pretty low. But Vince is also a player similar to Zach LaVine. He's going to give you good stats where it really matters, right? He has a 3 in post scoring, which is not super important, a 3 in strength, a 2 in rebounding, and a 3 in defending. So again, a liability on defense. But he has a 5 in layups and dunks, which is really, really crucial. And he has a 4 in shoot-off-dribble, 4 in mid-range shooting, and a 4 in 3-point shot, along with 4 in agility. Younger Vince obviously would have had a 5 in agility and mid-range shot, or even 3-point. But we got to face the reality of it. This is the Atlanta Hawks Vince Carter. You got to pay homage to one of the greatest legends ever to play the game, one of the greatest dunkers in NBA history. So just having him in the game is awesome. And I think if you do have the opportunity to unlock him, he's going to be good for your team. You just got to use him the right way. So I would mainly focus on building up his layups and dunks and his mid-range shooting. And if you somehow bring up his agility, then you're going to be A-okay with Vince Carter. Then you got Onyx Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins is a legend, right? You've seen Nick dominate all the things that come out. He has a 4.6 overall stat rating, one of the best players in the game. He is craftable. His lowest category, if you can even say such a thing, is a 4. Aside from that, he has a 5 in shoot off dribble, layups and dunks, mid-range shooting, agility, strength, and defending. Everything else is a 4. You got another new LeBron James. This is a Ruby, 4.9 overall stat average. You know the king is the best in the game. He is craftable. He has a 5 in every category, for the exception of rebounding, which is a 4. And arguably, he could get a 5 in that as well. But aside from that, LeBron James is a monster. Have fun. Create this build the way you want to build it. Put on the best gear. Hook up those gear points because the king is a monster. All right, so now let's get into our power forwards. This team has a lot of power forwards. So the overall stat average for Larry Nance Jr. is 3.4. He's not craftable. Larry Nance has a 5 in layups and dunks. Aside from that, he has a lot of low categories. 2 shoot-off dribble, 2 3-point shot, 2 in playmaking. That playmaking will hurt you in the 3-point shot. But he has a 4 in mid-range shooting. He has a 4 in agility, strength, and rebounding, and defending. So those categories are decent. If you can ignore the fact that he's not going to really score buckets for you, he's going to be like a putback king, offensive rebound type of guy, get the dunk, wide open, get the dunk, alley-oop, get the dunk. Use him like that and you'll be A-okay. Next, you got Amethyst Aaron Gordon. He is craftable, similar to Larry Nance Jr. in a sense, right? But I personally use Aaron Gordon, so I can tell you that he can make the 3-point shot from certain spots at a fairly decent efficiency rate. Aaron Gordon only has a 5 in layups and dunks. He has a lot of 4 scattered across the board. What brings down his score is a couple 3s in shoot-off dribble and playmaking, along with post scoring. Again, those aren't huge. The post scoring should be a little bit higher, right? If you want to create some offensive opportunities down low. But aside from that, Aaron Gordon's pretty good. And again, he's on my team. It's not like he isn't bad to use. He makes it work. You just got to surround him with scorers. Then you got Sapphire Zion Williamson, who's rated at 3.9 overall. Zion has a 5 in strength and a 5 in layup dunks. Aside from that, everything else is a 3 and 4. If you saw the free Zion code video, I did a build on him. You can follow the same instructions. You could focus on maybe bringing up the stats that are strong for him because the defending is low and the mid-range shootings are low, so that could be an area of opportunity for you. But if you're able to do it, then go ahead. It'll make him an even more complete player. You got Sapphire Blake Griffin, who is craftable, 3.9 overall as well. He has kind of a similar build to Zion. Actually, the stats are identical, so you can follow the same advice. And it kind of makes sense because I always felt like Zion resembled Blake Griffin. And this is actually a pretty good finding right now. So yeah, they have the same exact build, so follow the same advice. Then you have Onyx Shawn Kemp, who's rated 4.1 overall. You know I want to try to get the Rain Man. So Shawn Kemp has a 6 in strength, and a ton of 5s in important stats. A 5 in layups and dunks, a 5 in post scoring, 5 in agility, and a 5 in rebounding, and a 5 in defending. He is really, really good. Now he has a 3 in shoot off dribble, a 3 in mid-range shooting, a 2 in playmaking, and a 2 in 3-point shot. He has some elite stats where it matters. So if I were you, Shawn Kemp is based purely off of pure dominance and power. So if you really want to maximize his build, you can probably bring up his mid-range shooting. Since he's going to be down low a lot, that's going to be his main thing. Bring up mid-range shooting. And I would even try to bring up layups and dunks and rebounding even more, just to make him a beast down low. Like he can be like a Shaq at the power forward position. All right, next you got Gold Tyson Chandler, who's rated 2.8 overall. He is craftable. He is a pure rebounder. So he's a 5 in rebounding and a 4 in defending, along with 4 layups and dunks. Everything else is so low to invest in. He has 1 statted across the board. So if you're a new player and you need a center, I understand you might need to craft them. If you have the collectibles and you don't think you'll be able to craft any other players, then go ahead. But there's going to be a lot of room for growth. There's going to be a lot of room to invest for Tyson Chandler. Most of the gear in the game won't be able to get him to a point where he's decent on your team. Then you got Ruby DeAndre Jordan, similar to Tyson Chandler, pure rebounder. He has a 5 in layups and dunks, a 5 in strength, and a 5 in rebounding, and a 4 in defending. Everything else you could take the same strategy as DeAndre Jordan. And then Dwight Howard you can craft as well. Similar attitude. I would say the only difference with Dwight Howard is that he actually is a good post scorer, He has a 4 in post scoring and a 4 in agility, so he is fairly fast as well. He has a 5 in strength, rebounding, and a 4 in layups and dunks and defending. So there's more opportunity. Dwight Howard, you could actually do things to make him a decent center on your team. And then for your top center, you have gold Alonzo Mourning, who's craftable as well. So if you had to craft a center between Tyson Chandler and Alonzo, then you definitely know who to go with. He has a 5 in defending, 5 in rebounding, 5 in strength, a 5 in post scoring. Very solid center. One of the best centers, during the 90s. Like, he was really, really good. You can also try to bring up his mid-range shooting, which is a 3. He can hit that shot for you, and it'll be really helpful for your team. And then layups and dunks is a 4 as well. So you have some opportunity to work with Alonzo Mourning. It's rated 3.7. You can easily bring up some of those pips. All right, so now let's get into all the players. We're going to tell you the top 5 players in this team, the top 5 craftable, and the best team you want to craft, and then we'll wrap this video up. All right, so you got at number 5, Onyx Shawn Kemp. Then you got Amethyst Russell Westbrook, Emerald Jason Richardson, Onyx Dominique Wilkins, Ruby LeBron James. For the craftables, you got Ruby Victor Oladipo, Amethyst Russell Westbrook, Emerald Jason Richardson, Onyx Dominique Wilkins, and Ruby LeBron James. And then the best team you're going to have overall, at center, you're going to have gold Alonzo Mourning. Power forward, you're going to have Onyx Shawn Kemp. Small forward, you're going to have Ruby LeBron James. Emerald, you're going to have Jason Richardson at the shooting guard. And for point guard, you're going to have Amethyst Russell Westbrook. So that is it. That is the end of the video. Do appreciate all the support you guys have been showing in the channel. It's been a tough time for the NBA community. So we definitely got to keep grinding. We got to keep the spirit alive. Again, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Black Mamba, Mamacita. Rest in peace, Gigi, all right? And everybody else impacted in that crash. Along with my condolences to all the families affected as well. All right, so again, thank you, everybody. Peace out.